All right, so let's run this right back, man. Let me know how you guys feeling today. Welcome. It is the 8th day of our boot camp. Oh, somebody said they overslept today. Good Lord. Good Lord. All right, so if it was one word that would describe how your day has been spent today or how you feeling overall out of your day, you said some people said peaceful. That's good. That's good. Someone said good. And that itself as a man is more of an answer that we could ask for, you know? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Okay, okay. No complaints. No complaints. Awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and transition back to how we usually run things. So, um, we talked about a lot of very, very important topics yesterday and the days prior, but if you guys notice, I'm always asking y'all how your day was because number one, maybe people don't ask you guys that type of question, like everybody just wants to um expect something from you, but don't really care about your well-being. And the thing about trading is your well-being, your emotional, your mental, your physical well-being is very important. I realize that now more than ever because as great as I am at trading, if my if my mental, if my emotional is not doing so good, I tend to not process very well. And so, like, I can only imagine if you guys are not aware of your emotional state, and you will probably have yourself convinced that, yeah, I can trade today. Like, what's the difference between me yesterday and today? And once you start to underperform or not produce, or you're doing things that you shouldn't do, that's a big telltale sign. And a lot of things that we produce comes from the mind, right? If we don't believe that we're enough, we're not going to perform like we're enough. We're going to try to fill voids where uh where we feel the lack needs to be like fulfilled. And so when you're trading, it shouldn't be like that. It's about just being mechanical. If you also wake up and you don't feel like yourself, you're not going to trade like yourself. You're gonna be scared to, make certain decisions, and anything can trigger your emotions as well. And let it be a loss that you wasn't really looking forward to. So that's why I asked you guys like how you doing, because it's part of it, it's part of it. When it comes to dealing with um an abundance mindset, you have to be truthful about how you feel, because some days um the markets really are shit, and like no matter how great you might have thought the outcome was going to be to set the tone for your day, set the tone for your week, and then you have some bullshit like this. Where is it? US 30, where you at? Yeah, some bullshit like this pull up, and then all of a sudden your analysis or the way you was anticipating the outcome is changed. And so now the outcome of your day, your performance, your week is getting messed with. And this inspired me to come up with a line. It's like sometimes it's not that we don't like losses. It just be certain days out of the month, out of the week, you just can't afford to take any more loss because you can only afford to win. And so that's why, like, you're looking for those good numbers, and then the market is just like, I ain't got that for you today, buddy. I ain't got that for you, queen. And that messes with you. And the worst part of it is you got to be okay with taking the loss, right? Talk about knowing that this is a space where you have to risk, and you can't be out here looking to fill a void while trading. All right. You need to come in here with an abundance mindset, literally. Win or lose, you will make it back. You will have to just be okay with the outcome. You guys get where I'm coming from. Not everybody is okay with the outcome, and that's the most difficult part. All right. So as I transition into the technical side of it, I just wanted to talk about like the mental side of it. Like, I've made this example before, but I think we all can relate. You ever been having a terrible day, and then, yo, that one side of the door, the latch that catches onto your freaking pants or your dress, and it either rips it or it just tugs you, bro. It's like you want to really go crazy with the door. Like, yo, step outside with me real quick, bro. Step outside with me. I just want to talk, you know? And these things we have to be mindful of our emotions because you can't be one decision away from blowing your account. You can't be crashing out like that, you know? So emotional control is very, very important. How many of you guys will say you have good emotional control um when it comes to your overall self? Like, would you consider yourself somebody who has good emotional control? Let's be honest. Let's open up.
Emotional control, yes. Anxiety, probably no.
Mm, damn, thank you for that. So when you feel the most anxious, do you still attempt to take a trade?
Yes, I do.
Right. So can you imagine like the setup is not there and you're trying to take a trade by any means? Do you understand how crazy and dangerous that can be for our accounts?
Mm-hmm. It's been proven.
It's been proven to say the least, right? And we're human, right? We're human. We're going through a lot. And this is why like I keep emphasizing I've traded under some funny circumstances, some like upset circumstances. I've done it all, but I realized how important it was to also know what circumstances I should still be able to trade because I can't afford to just be like, oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm not trading. You know, most of us know for sure that even if you couldn't afford to go to work, you still had to pull up to work. And the fact of the matter is, this market doesn't require you to clock in all the time, even though sometimes you got to just pull up and see what's going on. It's not a 9 to 5. So to be able to tap into this market where sometimes like you got to sit this one out and other times you have to still execute while you might have a lot of emotions going on, you need to depend on a setup that's not going to require too much emotional investment for you to still function out of the days where you're going through whatever you're going through. Does that make sense? Meaning,
Yeah.
yeah, meaning as like simple setups that are so textbook, you really win or lose, rain or shine, snow or sleet. You know the setup so well that like whatever's going on in your personal life, you're for just a second, for just that session you're trading, you able to just close your eyes, pick the trade, know the setup, put the stop loss, literally be mechanical to the point where trading in a way has become your piece, your thing, like your comfort zone, where you can literally just forget about the world and everything that's crumbling down and just be here in the moment and to execute. That is very important because the problem you may be having might be external, but if you bring it inside, if you make it internal, it's not going to help you to perform. And so I've sat down with a couple guys who are like way older than me in this trading space, and they're like, yeah, you know, one of the most things that make a lot of traders with our hedge fund not perform is like one day they could be great at what they're doing, and then they're having some problems back at home or with relationships or whatever, and then like they just take it out on the market. And that kind of bothered me a little bit because I have done that in the past, like specifically a few years ago. I remember I had gotten into this crazy argument and I just wanted to make the market listen to me. Like my point wasn't getting across. So like US 30 was going to take fall or like it was going to take whatever anger I had going on inside. Like that day was not the best day US 30 was supposed to not be moving the right direction and lacking volume. I was just pushing that lot sizes to the furthest extent, and then guess what happened? Oh yeah, I got that call, that margin call, and it was over for that account, you know? So, and then the second thing is, no matter how great you are, like some things like today's price action is going to show up, and you're gonna have to learn to, even though you saw profit and then it turned around into something you don't recognize even till this very moment, you're gonna have to learn to be like, hey, worst case scenario, what numbers do I not want to see no matter what? What numbers um do I not want to deal with um and be able to have to like really go out of my way to try and recover that? Okay, that's what we call stopping the bleeding early. I've been talking to you guys about technical analysis. I've talked about emotional management, breathing room psychology, but overall psychology of loss psychology is something that needs to be studied. And no one really goes that deep into it because everybody is a winner online, right? Nobody takes a loss. And so you don't even know who to talk to about losses because you feel like your mentor is always winning. So he can't relate. So the other day I showed you guys 34 grand of a loss that I recovered within the same session and I made 42. And you see how I had to literally like conduct myself. I literally ran back home, turned on my Zoom, recorded myself doing the webinar by myself. And then I was saying, man, what a day we just had. We lost 34 and now we're recovering at 42K. Like, wow, what a comeback. I don't think too many people can tell that story. But even at that point, I had to remember, yo, I want to see the market do this, but the way it's moving, F that. And I closed the profits, even though I was expecting to have a 100K day. Like I saw it plain as broad daylight, but still something told me, yo, bro, you just recovered from like a traumatic experience. You don't want to add on to that traumatic experience. You want to close what you just recovered today. That's emotional immaturity. The second thing is, let's say you have $1,000 account and you were anticipating a good setup and then price just started doing something you just don't understand. You need to sit down and ask yourself, worst case scenario, what's a really bad maximum loss that you cannot afford to lose out of any day? Or if it's getting close to that, what is it that I'm going to have to do to close that? Because number one, now that you understand that you can come back from anything based on the setups that I've been teaching you, you don't have to latch on to the potential loss and the hope that things will get better. No, we don't think like that. We don't think like that. And today I'm going to also show you what are different case scenarios you can consider before you actually close a trade that's not doing so well. Are you guys excited to hear that? I know it's not sexy. I know it's not about making 100K, 50K, 20K, but it's about how to play good defense. Are you guys ready for that? Good, 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 good. Okay. So now I got to ask you guys, what's the worst loss you ever experienced? We got to talk about it today. We got to talk about it today. I want to get you guys rid of all the things you've been holding inside that you couldn't tell nobody. It's a safe place here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stop recording so you can feel safe. We're gonna hear the little lady be like, "Recording, stop." I'm gonna pause it. See. So we have to speak on the three potential areas before closing trades or letting the stop loss hit. All right. So since yesterday we talked about um breathing room psychology, how to like give your trade some space to breathe before you or to extend and move the stop loss a little further just to allow it the chance to be to play in your favor. We need to talk about what some of those areas look like before panicking or feeling like, okay, plans got changed. We need to be concerned about what's going on. The previous session. So if you're in a trade, right? Previous session. Let me go ahead and write the previous day. Previous day. Previous yeah, that's typically the top three. Previous session, previous day, or previous week highs or lows. All right. And I will show you guys why I say that. If you're in a buy and prices retracing, never mind the order blocks, the breaker blocks, the imbalance. If price is looking for liquidity, do you know where liquidity is at and why? It's right below these sessions and the days because those are where people will settle for better pricing as far as institutions. Okay. It's just like, what's that? Okay, it's like Facebook Marketplace. If you're looking for a couch, you go to Facebook Marketplace, you're going to see a whole bunch of people throwing out prices. But you're about to scroll through page one, page two, and then like if somebody's sitting at page six, that means they've like posted their ad or they posted this listing, this item weeks ago. So they kind of getting desperate. And like the most ready person is on page one. I'm going somewhere with this. So if you were to be trying to pitch a cheaper price, which one out of the pages that you're scrolling would be the most desperate to like sell it for a cheaper price? Page one or page six?
Six.
Somebody said six. Does everybody else agree? Let me see the answer on the chat. I hope you guys were following. For sure, six, Andy says. Exactly. So that's why, like, when you are seeing prices moving and institutions want to get a much better price, they're going to go and settle and bargain their prices between the other institutions from previous sessions where the asking price was like 43.59 below London in the New York session. Or they're going to go looking for cheaper prices from the previous week, right? Or the previous day. So that's where price usually sweeps the liquidity to find a much cheaper price, or they sweep the liquidity above supply zones for a better premium price so they can sell it to other institutions and participants. So where would you best place stop losses after breaking retest? Or even if prices like you're in a good trade and it starts to pull back a little bit, you're like, this is uncomfortable, but is this to manipulate retailers? Yes. Yeah, retailers. But when we say retailers, I don't want y'all to just think us. We talking about anybody who's managing capital or not institutions, but like companies and private equity firms that have like less than let's say less than 10 billion. Yeah, less than 10, 1 billion, 500 million, because most hedge funds have at least 500 million. Most higher tier hedge funds, like there are smaller hedge funds that can start at 2, 3, 5 million, 20 million. Just to show you, they're not really after you like you think. It's just that institutions, because they're part of the market makers, they're the ones that have enough money as a unit to move the market. sometimes they like to bargain price with their other competitors, their other institutions. It's just like, you know, you go to a car show, you know, folks who got these exotic cars can afford a car that you'd be like, hey, I'm letting this go next summer if you want my GTR. And they'll be like, yeah. How much you want for it? 150K. So I'll let you know, I'll match you. I'll get you, you know, if you could give it to me for 130. So that's what happens, right? It's good for business. So the three areas when price, you're in a buy, for instance, and price is pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. Before you panic, be like, yo, where was price at in London? Especially if you're trading New York, right? And you're like, where was price at in London? And between 3 to 7 a.m. is where London is sitting, right? With usually the liquidity. You might see them pull back all the way under London and push it back up. So if you see that going on and you kind of had your stop loss a little tight, you can move the stop loss just a little bit outside of London to give yourself a chance. That's what I'm saying about like breathing room psychology. Or if you're looking for a good stop loss, you can see London and the previous day as a good area to put your stop loss. Meaning, this is where Monday's afternoon was. If you're trading by 4 a.m., you see price pulled back, did a break and retest, you want to put your stop loss a little bit below, not Asia. Sometimes Asia really be, you know, the capital of liquidity sweeps. You know, you gotta be careful. But if you're looking at the previous day, you might find yourself a good distance away to put your stop loss to give it a chance for you to win the day. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Is making sense for one person, or is making sense?
Yes.
Even if it don't make full sense for you, but does
Yes.
that logic make sense? I know many people who struggle with where to place that stop loss, so I want to get that out the way today. Like I could afford losing $1,600, but losing 30, that's gonna take a little bit of a good setup for me to bounce back. You know, it's those type of conversations you need to get comfortable with. I could lose $50 on this account, but losing 150, oh man, that's gonna take a while for me. And your sense of confidence is gonna need to be resetted for you to even make this back. So you got to start getting comfortable knowing, hey, where can I like settle for a good loss? And that's including like how you risk too. Because that account not gonna go nowhere if you don't know how to risk. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. You know, in case y'all thought I was running out of things to talk about. This is an avant-garde for those of you guys who want to take, you know, my mentorship as well. But I want y'all to have like a catalog. These 10-day recordings, well, I'm gonna make it 11 anyway. But I want y'all to be able to go back like, dang. Y'all can't be watching these things just once. Y'all could even put that thing on speed 1.8, 2.0, 2.5 just to be able to get through them. But don't be asking me questions that you didn't go back and rewatch. You need to have added questions to what was discussed. Okay? Because I know I'm putting a lot of my heart and soul into these boot camps. You know, these are things I wish somebody told me when I first started, or if I'm in year 3, year 4, and I need someone to coach me how to like maintain, how to fight the good fight, you know? A lot of traders who are sponsored by brokers, now I know these types of information, they can afford to risk and show you how they made a 50K day. And you're like, man, one day I'll be like them. Wait, what capital? If you these guys, they have affiliate broker deals, right? They know where they're getting that extra 50K back if they lose it. But they're going to inspire you that it's possible. But come on, you got to be careful You know, you gotta question some things. Gotta question some things. That's why I'm not afraid to tell you, hey guys, you see this account? Okay, yeah, it has $1 million. Okay, yeah. Well, that's not just my capital or whatever. That's tied in with so-and-so parties, private parties. I get a split off that. I don't have $1 million and I'm trading like that's my own personal capital. Not yet. But I could tell you now, like different conversations begin had now. And it's all because of the hard work and dedication and the confidence in what I know. Okay. So that's why, like, I also add another one. I'm gonna show you guys something today. Here is a fresh conversation I'm having with a partner of mine, just to show you where we at this point in my trading. Good morning, brother. Account should be live and ready for you by tomorrow. We'll circle with them today to confirm. How much we starting with again? 508K. Hey, da 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 da. Okay, another conversation. I'm at church. You're getting funded soon. Just keep this between us for now. I'm working on it, Sam and his investors. Okay, that's a good message to wake up to, not gonna lie. Boom. I get another text message. It'll likely be around 500K with the same risk rules you got right now, then scale it every quarter is what I'm aiming for. This is where I'm at now, right? But imagine the level of anxiety one might feel when now you are being provided with the blessings and the dreams and the prayers and the hard work that you've been working on, and you can mess up still. And you have to start having these conversations like, yo, I need to be mindful of my worst days with these types of responsibilities. And so since you guys have to do this for you, you need to keep you accountable because you're doing this for your dreams, your mental sanity, your respect, your future, your financial situations. You have to learn how to lose. You have to learn how to manage. Because this is not a game. Starting over, it never hurts. It never feels good. It hurts. Right? So you have to learn what worst case scenarios can look like and prepare to visit them. All right. So number one, previous session. If it's pulling back into the previous session, be like, should I let the stop loss handle that or should I move the stop loss a little bit? Number two, the previous day. If it's pulling back deep into the previous day, might want to let the stop loss get hit, then figure out if there's a break and retest or a reversal that's about to happen, just so you can like re-enter that trade. Because you might be like, all right, I can afford to re-enter. You don't just re-enter because you're like, they took my money. I'm getting back in. I'm getting back in. Nope. There has to be scenarios where you're like, okay, if price does that, then I'm clear to re-enter this trade. You know, well, they got me messed up. They dealing with Andy. It's my money. I need my money back. Tiana don't play like that. D like, they must be they must be messing with the wrong child of God today. I'm getting my coins back, right, D? Suze is like, shoot, they got the wrong island sister, these market makers. We need to make some money for them kids to eat. Corey like, hey, man, Shlem, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm getting this back in blood. You feel me, Mo? Shlem. Damn, I'm getting this coin back. Okay? It just can't work that way, guys. It can't work that way. So we have to be okay with what the risk could be and what the worst case scenario can be. Please write that one down. Please write that one down. Because we can't just be moving our stop losses under any circumstances as well. We should have been calculated what the risk was, what we'd be comfortable losing. And even if we're not comfortable with this, what would be the situation that we're like, this ain't gonna play out the way I thought it was, because it happens. Because I for sure didn't think Price was gonna do this. I didn't today. And that's the strategy I like to trade. And it was good by 11:30, and then Price took out, London's highs. I'm realizing now. I didn't think they was gonna keep the range tight like that. Mind you, I should have closed some partials. I didn't. I should have moved stop loss into profit, but I didn't see where. And so when this happened, I was like, what? Okay, we're gonna retest the zone again. And they did. And by 3 p.m., they lost volume again. I'm like, you know what, man? I did the best I could. I did the best I could. This came out of left field, to be honest. And you're gonna get that sometimes. You're gonna get that sometimes. All right. Let me go ahead and close this as well. Market's losing volume. I don't like the way it's moving. Let me close this. Okay. It's good. Risk. So far for the week, since last week, I'm still up. So like since last Monday, watch. Still up. So that's what I say, like, gotta have good defense. There were some losses, negative 6K, -5, -4. But look at the bounce back. Look at the comeback. Look at the comeback. Look at the comeback. So it's stuff like that that you have to really be mindful of. All right. And your comeback, your best comeback is going to happen under the circumstances of high quality setups. Write that one down. Your best comeback is going to happen not by accident, because it's not your best comeback. It's an accidental comeback. Oh. But with your high quality setups. That's why you got to learn to cool it. Let me know when y'all done writing that one down. So far, Tiana's done. I was looking forward for today. I'm not gonna lie. I had these notes already written down, so that's why off the top of my head, like I knew what I was gonna talk about. Okay, Andy's done. Perfect. Who else? Who else? Althea, you done? Bianca, Corey, make sure you're writing it down, bro. D Mac, good. Stefan, Deandra, Gloria. Make sure you're writing this down. Don't be too busy, Gloria. Suze and Kendall, Kennedy, Rich. Make sure you're writing this down. I'm always writing a lot of things down, like especially when I'm feeling inspired. I've had some of those come back and help me. Like, look at this. July 28th, 2021. After price sweeps, or if you suspect a sweep, drop down to the 1 to 5 minute time frame to supervise price action. Sweeps are also a final release before price flees. Don't underestimate those equal highs and lows where the sweep is most likely to happen in the next session, targeting the previous one. Yep. Sometimes I just go back just to see what I wrote. October 2021. When you have the feeling that liquidity will be hunted, don't change the bias, and retracements are your entry points for buys. Same thing for sells. Remember US 30, especially if the market is gunning for a monthly low or high, also anticipate the reversal. Shoot, I will have my 6-figure day in 2022. I came back here and said done. 2024 twice. Love that. See, February 2022 for indices. If previous days New York lower, high, or mid get swept, take that reversal. Still useful. Work up to $12 to $15 going to for 200, 300 pips on indices, 4 to 6-figure day numbers. Biggest reminder, and indices, if you are in profit before equities open, I should write equities market open time. Close that motherfucker. chances chances are, I remember this day. Chances are this had to be in wow. This was in April. Chances are you will lose those profits as they take out early positions. Better to close your gains so you can use that equity later or be done for the day. Now y'all see where I get all of this wisdom from. I write some of my best and worst experiences, but I'm like, damn, what could I have done better next time? Some of you guys are lost in your trading journey because you didn't write enough things. So when you try to remember, it's just pain and losses. Nothing that can help you for the future. Nothing constructive.
Oh,
Destructive only. Nothing constructive. Straight destructive thoughts. And you try to like dissociate from it and it's all a blur. And we ain't talking about the Drake tour. Right? So these are some of the things, man. These are some of the things that really need to be discussed when you would want to ask yourself, so where do I go from here? Like how can I like heal from all of these situations that I've gone through? Well, one, you have to find yourself profitable setups. Okay. Now, let's talk about a setup like this one with gold. I took a sell on Monday, and then the next day in London, price came and bounced and made this W formation. This is a break of structure, right? Now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, which should make us a lot more aware of where direction will go. We saw Friday, July 19th, price was here, and then they swept it and gave a W formation. And they pretty much came back to this area from July 11th, what seems to be a demand zone. The foundation, the base. So that's why I'm anticipating some buys. Now, I really want to swing trade this position, but sometimes you can still come back and re-enter certain positions, especially if they have the tendency or you feel like they could be retesting the same zone before buying. And plenty times before price flees, just like you guys saw in my notes, it likes to sweep something before it pushes up. So imagine if you were in these positions and you were like, no, I'm gonna hold on to it, hold on tight, hold on tight. And then next thing you know, price sweeps your trade and runs in the middle of the night. How many of you guys have experienced this pain? I know.
All the time. All the time.
Oh, and we didn't even ask if God was good.
Yeah. He is.
So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
I closed my laptop for like a week. But no. I gotta stop doing that though.
Right. You have to face the monster. You have to deal with the demon. You can't be acting like it's not there. You can't be acting like you're not gonna solve this elephant in the room. You have to internalize it. You can't act like it doesn't exist when it's eating you up. So what I realized that I can do is if I have any suspicions about the trade, I'd rather close the profit that I see versus the hope that I might have. The market is unforgivable, right? And I'd rather close a trade and then see it run than let that thing sit when I have some suspicions that they could retest back inside the range that I have my trades in. I don't want to deal with loss or unnecessary drawdown if I can control that. So this is why I'll close a trade and expect a retracement. If not, I'll just wait for another break and retest. If it's not the best entry, I might have to sit it out. But many times I've like held a position, braved through the storms and everything, and then price literally comes back and sweeps me up, or I'm in unnecessary drawdown. I don't want that. And so the same thing goes for those of you guys who trade stock options. You have to be able to, for example, let's see if I have a stock up here. Nope, I have my stock in my stocks list. Let's say you got a Tesla. Why is this Jones taking forever? There we go. All right. Let's say you are dealing with Tesla. And we talked about how Tesla was like at 182 by June, and now it's sitting at 249. Now we can see that January 2024 price was here. Remember yesterday when we talked about exit points? If you're trading stocks or you're doing options, this right here, the fact that it's retesting it for the first time in a long time, don't have high hopes. Make a judgment call. Exit some positions. That's good defense and offense. All right. So going back to what we know best, if price is pushing past an old high, damn, that's a lot of notes. What do? If price is reaching an old high and you're in some buy trades and it's reaching an old high, what should we do?
If it's reaching a so high, close it.
That's right. Got to close them positions. Because once price takes out the highs of an old high, once it goes and finds the old high, a lot of big exits are happening. You don't want to be the last little guy who didn't see the sharks coming, and now it's blood in the water, and you're hit. You got to be mindful of that. So when you're in a trade, you got to be looking at potential exit areas, not just where you close everything, but you could be saying, hey, yo, once price makes it here, man, I definitely want to close some partial, some positions from that. So that way there's not unnecessary pullback that I have to mentally deal with. So areas where old highs, old lows were sitting, you need to be making decisions out of those. All right. Those are the best areas you need to be careful about, because they're the same areas, if you had your stop loss, they might have been looking for before reversing. As above, so below. So now when you see price, as I said earlier into this boot camp, retesting the zone twice, what does that do for the trade potential? In 2 different days.
Gives it more power.
Gives it more power. Good. Literally, you look in front, you look at your chart, you see price bounced off this area like that. You already know what's going on. You don't even need more indicators to tell you, oh, wow, Monday, Tuesday, hey, we in that. I want it to be that simple for you. I'm about to test this theory real quick. Let's go to crypto real quick. Let's go to XRP real quick. Let me see if I see something. Let me go grab my charger real quick. I'll be right back. You guys were about to be in here by yourself. All right. So we're back. I apologize for this quick little break, but it's not just a W formation, it's a confirmation of price retesting the zone in 2 different occasions. And every time you see that, it gives price more power, more volume. Look how price bounced off this area July 8th, July 5th. They bounced and they were out of there for several days on a 4-hour time frame. So when price is bouncing off an area twice, it not only gives it power, but it gives it better hold time. For those of you guys who struggle with hold time psychology, we've been talking about that. You know, how long can you hold your breath underwater when you're in a trade? All right. So typically when price bounces off an area twice on different days, especially on a 4-hour time frame, you're looking at like 2-3 days of movement. All right. So look at Ethereum. Same thing. Boom, boom, out of there. The other day we talked about it as well. But let's just take a look at a couple more things. Look at Solana. If you're seeing this on a daily time frame, it might just give it about 3 to 5 days, a whole entire week, right? So let's say an area on a daily time frame came back and retested it months later, and then they gave you a double confirmation. You already know what this is about to do for you. Okay? So even on a higher, on a lower time frame, you see prices bouncing off an area twice. That typically helps carry the move. It confirms it. So imagine if you weren't taking some, you know, your trades weren't doing so well, and you see that setup in front of you. Whatever loss you took before, you'll know how to make it back once that circumstance or scenario shows up in front of your face, which helps you to be okay with losing temporarily. Okay. So that's why, like, yesterday, D was asking, hey, was it yesterday? Or was it, what's today? Tuesday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Remember when we talked about when D was saying, hey, I saw price bounce twice here. One time was at 11:45, and then the second time was 12:45. I said, yeah, you could definitely take that trade for like an hour, 30 minutes minimum. But me, my sweet spot is if I take it at by 12:30, 1 p.m., I'm getting out by 2 p.m. By 2 p.m. Right? But there's power in price testing an area twice. Everybody got that written down? This was not the first time I said this. There's power in price testing an area twice. And it works everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. All right. So that's right, D. That's right. So these things will help you to remember how to navigate, even if you're having a bad trading day, a bad trading week. But once you start to see the ones that you recognize, capitalize. Once you start to see the setups that you recognize, capitalize. Once you see the setups that you recognize, capitalize. All right. This is how I remember certain things. It just became just ramen bars for me. Once you see setups that you recognize, capitalize. That's when you add on size. That's when you put in some, you know, a little bit more risk, calculated risk. Okay. That's when you're going to have your biggest days, or push the account a little bit further to where you need it. Which ties in with what I said before about your best trades will not happen by accident, but how will they happen?
By conviction of seeing high quality setups. Oh, well, yeah, right there.
That's right. Do you guys have this one written down?
Yeah, your best comeback is going to be from high quality comebacks or setups.
You got to write it word for word. It's right there. No, you can't be stumbling on words of affirmation. It's not going to be affirmed.
Can't mess up words of wisdom, huh?
Imagine, no, you can't imagine standing in front of the demon that you need to affront and you stumbling. You're going to have it laughing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you say he was going to say? You can do all things to, you can't even get the verse right. How you going to defeat me? How you going to beat the demon within? You can't even remember. You can't.
That's true.
Yo, there's power in what I'm telling you. I'm just making a joke out of it. But you can't stand in front of your demons, your doubts, your uncertainties, and forget your words that are channeling and activate your level of fearlessness, you're supposed to feel it less, remember? The journey of fearlessness is to fear less, a little bit less and less and less until you can literally look at the face of fear and say you don't fear it anymore. You're not fearful. You are fearless. Like you're not scared of it no more. It's not holding you back anymore. But in order for you to say that, you have to have gone through a forest of different monsters and beasts and like stuff that you didn't think you needed to deal with. And then finally you come in front of the last boss and you gotta kill it. Or else it's going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. And your chances of decapitating this monster once and for all, slim. All right. So you came here to learn about trading. Now you're learning about a whole different level of awareness and awakening, because everything we do here is a reflection of us, what we believe we can do, things we believe we can come back from, circumstances we feel like we can overcome. Because if you're not right within, if you can't overcome what's inside of you, you're not going to overcome shit on these charts. No matter how much you think you deserve it. Okay, so playing good defense means knowing how to be right within. Tiana got it. You know where I'm headed with that. How you gonna win when you ain't right within? Yeah, my music heads out here showing themselves out here. Uh-huh. I would have been so upset at you if you didn't know what I was talking about, Tiana. I've been like, wow. Okay. So those are the words of wisdom for today. I promise I wasn't going to hold you guys too long, but that pretty much solidifies it. You ain't got really too much to talk about. It had to tie in with the charts, but it also had to make sense within. So now I still want to do a little bit of break room activity. And we're going to talk about the last couple of quotes that I dropped here today and tell me how that resonates with you. All right. There's about 14 of you guys. We'll go ahead and just do 5 minutes of that activity and then we'll be done for today. How does that sound?
Great.
Good.
Cool. All right. Well, let me go ahead and create 4 rooms and I'm going to assign automatically. It is 8:17. Let's go ahead and have 5 minutes of a break room. Okay. Opening all the rooms.
Oh, you're a veteran. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. So Hans, and everybody, I want to say that my biggest thing, easily the one that resonates with me the most, would be once you see a setup that you recognize, capitalize easily, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen a high probability. I mean, there are times where I recognize a high probability setup and I went in and I did put in good lot size, had good risk, and I did really well in it, did really well with it. And then there was times where I just didn't really do it at all, where I was just like, I'll see it and then like I don't know what comes over me. I just don't do it, or I go in late or whatever the case may be. But yeah, but that one totally resonates with me, especially I think also being patient for high quality setups is another thing for me too. Which would be my
Awesome.
quote, or the quote that you provided that I resonate with the most.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. I'm only here. I'm like a fly on the wall, okay? Pretend I'm not here.
All right, you're not here. So how about you guys? What are you guys' quotes that you resonate with the most?
I think what I'm trying to internalize the most is like before you close the trade, consider your previous session, previous day, previous weekly high lows. I think just understanding those areas can not only help you when things start to get funny, but can also like help when you're placing your trade to begin with. Just kind of compound like all the other things that you would look for when you're gonna enter a trade, like an area touching twice and setups and stuff like that.
Mm, I like that. I like that. Good input, Andy. As always. I told you this was going, get you back in that mode.
I know, I'm excited. It's a lot, like just jumping into this session.
Yeah.
I'm really excited though to start watching from the beginning.
Mhm.
And I do like the way you break stuff down because I've heard people talk about loss before, but not really the way you did. And I think that's really cool.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I'm gonna leave this room. I'm gonna go and eavesdrop in the other room. So, you guys got about 2 minutes. Rich, I think it's your turn.
Oh, yeah, I'm at work. I'm always at work. That's why I be
Yeah,
on mute. I
I
don't say a
feel
lot. But for
Danley, what you doing by yourself here, bro? Put him into room 2.
Um, take like, actually put into practice. I did Monday, which I was happy about. I was able to take what I'm learning and apply it to the charts, and I was a lot more confident, and it was a lot less guesswork for me. But I overslept, so I wasn't able to catch that move on US 30. So I overslept. That should be another lesson. Making sure you get up so you don't miss your setups. That's a bar.
I'm gonna practice US 30 because I have not traded US 30. I'm gonna have to practice the setups so I could be there right with you guys.
I heard that bar. Right on
Heard that.
time.
Yeah, right on time for the bar. Don't
Right on
worry, I
time
give
for
you
the bar.
permission to use it. I give you permission to use it.
You make sure you copyright that. That was a good bar. Might get some royalties on that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Gloria, yeah, you should definitely try US 30. Just know, prepare yourself to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now Gloria says that her computer won't allow her to talk. So
You
I
mean
told her
Deandra?
I'll let you know that she was here, Hans.
Okay.
Audio issues. Yeah, definitely. I remember a time, a long time ago, funny time now that I laugh at it. I was afraid to trade US 30 because, when you started trading and you start with MIL and things like that, they tell you all types of things. And they're just like, oh, yeah, no, be clear of US 30 or NAS 100. I remember a time I was
Right.
afraid, and I get in there and I'm like, this is just regular trading, just like I do any
Right.
other. Now you do have to be careful.
You do have to
Be
be
careful of
careful.
those lot sizes.
Disclaimer.
You definitely, but there was really nothing to be afraid of. And that just shows you how a fearful mindset can hold you back from unlimited potential.
Mm,
And listening to other people because of their fears.
Exactly. Exactly.
mhm.
It doesn't have to be ours. We don't have to take ownership of it.
Absolutely.
Facts. Because US 30 will give you unlimited potential.
Facts.
Oh man, I love US 30 now. It's funny.
Right.
I love US 30 now.
It's crazy, right? Danley, you have anything to say, bro? Bianca, you have anything to say?
Me, just grateful that I'm at where I'm at in my journey in trading, and I'm seeing results. That's really it.
It's a fact, bro. You be coming in, putting that work. I love it, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good job. Good job. Bianca? She might not be available. Okay. Let me leave this break room and then I'm gonna check the last one and then we'll be right back together.
Really awesome.
Right. Yep.
Really awesome.
Hey,
Oh,
Hans, we're finished.
Okay. Dang, I ain't get to see nothing, hear nothing. All right. Okay, what do we talk about here?
Uh-huh. See, because you don't think we have it, do you?
Ah.
But you know what? We're going to show you. Your best comeback is going to happen not by accident, but with your high quality setups.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's the one that hits you guys the most today.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But you got
that
one
one and
more.
the last one.
You
Mm,
got once you see setups that you recognize, capitalize.
capitalize.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Dropping those bars.
The best too.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Good. That's good. That's great.
All right. So what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do, Suze, you want to say something? Is Kendall here too?
Yes, sir.
Hey, my brother, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Just listening in?
That's
Yes.
right.
It's good to have you guys. It's good to have you guys.
Hmm.
All right. Let's go ahead
Yep.
and break out of the rooms and
Mhm.
we're gonna come back in 60 seconds altogether. All right.
All right.
All right, we are gonna break out of the rooms. We are going to break out of the rooms.
So Hans, I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
So, you mentioned earlier on the chart that like it's better that you like if you're in a profitable trade and you'd rather exit the trade and let it like retest and before it keeps going further in the profit, which of course is smart and a great thing to do. I think that's another part of losing that I have a problem with is that like I've been in those situations um like where like I will be in a trade um and then it'll like okay, so for instance like last year I came up with a way of actually trading news and I was able to trade news I'd say like it was like a good 60%, depending on what the news was, especially like the big four, like CPI or PPI,
Mhm.
FOMC. And
Mhm.
like my problem is it's not even necessarily a problem. I guess it's just like I would like to for you to impart your mindset onto this. It's like it's not that it's a problem because it's a profitable trade. I will know where to put my stop loss. I'll know where to enter it. I just don't do it as much because it's like incredibly stressful because you're trading news, of course. Um, but the thing is that like news will go up to a certain point and then I will exit and I'll make X amount of money and then it'll just keep going, which is fine. It'll keep going, but I'm just personally pissed at myself because like I either knew that price was going to keep going that way or like maybe the volatility of news was going to keep moving. But this is not just specifically about news. This is just about trading in general. Like, how do you like I'm not satisfied with winning, if that makes sense. I made money. I like my analysis was correct. I was able to exit the trade, but like um why wasn't I able to like why can't I why am I not able to just like be okay with like the trade going? So for instance, like the example you posted, like hey, like price will go up, then it'll retest. You already got out of the trade, it's going to retest, and then you'll know that price is going to keep going, but you'd rather price keep going up than go up than have a loss. Which is obviously the goal as well because you don't want to end that trade in a loss. Because then you'll feel like extra shitty because you're like, damn, I should have exited with what I had versus the alternative is like, dang, I exited with what I had, but it could have been more. Is what I'm saying making sense? I don't know if
You're
I'm like,
making sense, but this is part of your mind where you've been wanting to master for a long time, which is why, like, not only do you want to be correct politically and how you're asking the question, you're also internalizing the question and also remembering these situations, and then you still haven't healed from it, and you're really like having a big issue with that, which can cause you to overtrade or try and feel like you're catching up, making up for lost time, and sometimes that definitely taps into your fear of missing out, right?
no, yeah, for sure.
Okay, you are naturally somebody who's an overthinker. So because I have that in my spirit too, I had to simplify certain setups, and I had to say to myself, you know what? I need to get better at my whole time psychology, and I need to make peace with when I make my decision whether it keeps going. Not that it won't hurt sometimes, but here's how I had to also like heal from that. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, price did sell off some more for, 190 pips, but I can catch 190 pips next time. Matter of fact, sometimes when I do catch it, I didn't even peep because I was literally in that trade to see the setup finalize. And when you divide 190 by like 4 attempts, you will catch that 190 some other time. It might not be by holding the full entire trade. Maybe the next 4 trades you catch will be 45, 50 pips if that's how much you're catching on average. So you have to kind of get comfortable with the uncomfortable thought of not you won't always be able to catch it all, especially if you're in a season where you're learning to hold your trades longer, right? Half the trades that I hold longer is because I was able to walk away from them. So if you're
Yeah,
actively watching the trades and the movements, you're not going to feel comfortable about how price is moving.
right. And I definitely agree. I'm gonna take that to heart and I agree with that because I think back to some other trades. Like there's a trade tonight actually, which is a European news. And I've traded
Yeah, at
like
3 a.m.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly that one. And like with my news trade strategy that I used to do a lot, I would be able to go into that trade and go to sleep, and I'll wake up with like 7 or 8 or 9 racks off of that trade. And like because of like how you said, I was able to, I was involuntarily, or I guess voluntarily, like not thinking about the trade because I went to sleep. I'm like, okay, whatever happens, happens. It's gonna hit my
Right.
stop. It's gonna hit it. If not, I'm gonna wake up to, some money, whatever the case may be. And then my strategy would be correct and I'd be right. But like, of course, I'm asleep at that time, so I'm not even thinking about it. Um, but I'm definitely gonna, that is gonna take me a little bit of work get to that, to be like, okay, cool, let me just work on hold time, let me not think about anything. Um, uh, because that, I don't know, like you said, like I overthink, and like you see, you like you said, you have like the same kind of issue. So it's like just something hard to grasp a little bit for me, because like I especially with like setups too, because I'm hyper specific. Somebody put in the chat, can it help to just, I can't do a fixed set pip count, because I get hyper specific with, like, you know how you like put your support, your supply and demand zones, like I'm like, okay, price is gonna hit here, and then like uh then I'll want it to hit there, or I'll just wait for it to hit there. And sometimes I might even get impatient sometimes and just like close the trade, even though I know it'll hit it, and of course it'll hit it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, like
Right.
uh
Yeah. So you
even
gotta
though,
be at
yeah,
peace with each decision, bro.
yeah,
Be the trader that actually closed profit and made money versus the trader that closed with nothing. Be the trader that knows you'll be able to make that back in increments versus having to catch it in full. It doesn't much matter, right? But also be the trader that embraces the fact that you can always increase your hold time over time. Because this is what I do. When I take notes of a setup, I also use the measuring stick to see how long price took to play out. And I ask myself, would I have been able to hold that trade that long? And then I also ask myself, will we actively work towards holding a trade for, let's say, 15 hours next time? And I'm like, what's 15 hours? I'm like, well, if I got in that trade at 11, then tomorrow by like 3 a.m. or whatever, that's around the time I should be expecting this trade to play out. So it's kind of like a 15-hour flight got me knocked, you know what I'm saying? Like you got me out like
yeah,
it's like you gotta set your alarm expectations on trades that you know will typically take that amount of time for you to tell your hyperactive mind it's okay. We're just gonna have to give this one time, and that's looking like about 12 hours. And so now you are setting your alarm in the future, like, okay, I'll give this thing time and the benefit of the doubt for it to play out until London tomorrow, or I got in that trade at 12 p.m. Okay, well, by 8 p.m. tonight, I'll see what it's doing, and then I'll make a decision and close partials or whatever. So that also means the lot sizes that you'll be using will need to be lot sizes that you're mentally able to say, hey, I'm gonna let this thing drive by itself, or take off the training wheels off your mind to be able to get in that trade and let it slide. You know what I'm saying? So that's
yeah,
how it's going to help you. Know what your whole time average will be for certain setups, for each of those setups. That's how you're going to actually overcome that. Okay. I overcame it. I told myself the other day, I'm like, damn, you got to work on your whole time. Then next week, Monday, I held my trade. And today I held my trade, and look what happened. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. That's part of it, because you said you was gonna hold your trade. So it's the accountability too. Gotta hold yourself accountable with each part of what happens, especially when you know you're bigger than the trades now. Like this setup will help you come back, but this was just part of you testing your psychology on how much you can hold.
absolutely, definitely. I'm especially rewatching this particular session.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have, and I could train you one-on-one on whole time psychology, because like I had to write a whole entire section of whole time psychology for me. I'm like, okay, daily breaker blocks, that's a 1 month hold. I've not held a trade for a month, but I'm working towards doing that, because I'm gonna need to do that by September, October, up until the first quarter. There's some setups I've been studying that literally have to last that long. So, and then as I told you, when I'm back testing on what could have happened or what had happened, and I'm upset, and I'm like, now hold up, now let me pull the measuring stick, and I'm like, while I'm taking a screenshot of the setup, I also make sure I don't I make sure I include how long that trade lasted. It seems it lasted 2 hours and a half between 2 a.m. to, let's say, 6 a.m. So I'm like, okay, let's not get that. Let's not forget that this is what it took. So I'm like, boom, screenshot, boom, 3 hours. And then I'm like, okay, for my journal's sake, let me show you guys. So let's say I'll put into my journal or something like that. And I'm like, okay, second bounce or retest of this low took 3 hours to play out. So I started seeing that on average, a good trade like that can last 3 hours. And then so now I'm like, all right, so if I saw this setup next time, I'm not about to sit here and play with the trade. I'm going to let it play out for 3 hours. That's going to help your whole time psychology.
Okay, I will definitely do that. I think I have like such a whatchamacallit. I'm very, what is it called? Like my trades will play out, like I will be in profit like eventually, like and it's just that I'm very much like an engineer when it comes to it, you know. I guess, or like you were saying, I overthink it, right? I overthink it. So like I'll have my analysis and I put like, and I'm triple checking, doing everything like bam, do the trade. Sometimes I'll get out early and then just be like, and it'll play out eventually, but then I get like so upset that like, oh, I only made 4 out of like the 7 that could have been done. But I think you're like, I definitely agree with you that it could have been like, I'm just overthinking it a lot.
Yeah, and be gangster about it, bro. Stand on business. You made 4, you could have made 7. So what? You gotta make some, lose some, and be content with some, bro.
That's the problem. Like it's not that I don't stand on business. It's just that like I think I always believe that I could do better. That's the
You
issue.
could do
That's
better. You will do
yeah.
better. It's a trauma response, but you will, you can, and you do it sometimes in full, sometimes in half, sometimes. Yo, this market is not to be trusted. If you made a decision because you felt there was some rational reasons why you got out early, stop beating yourself up about it. It's rather you than the market.
Right.
On some gangster shit, bro. You just leave that alone. Don't put don't put too much strain into your mind that you don't have. You're gonna need your mind later. So why are you putting so much pressure on it now? That's
What's the word you use?
you
It's the
gotta
perfectionist.
literally tell that little voice to shut the fuck up. I'm the captain. I made that decision that was best for us. Okay, that's it. If you don't learn how to control your urges, it's just going to like drain and what's the word? Trickle down into areas of your performance that's not needed.
Right.
Trust me.
It's the perfectionist, right?
Yeah, exactly. You reading Ego's the Enemy?
No, oh
Yeah,
yeah, by Ryan Holiday. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Read it again. It's gonna click in a different way as a trader.
Will do.
All right. I think that was it. Was that needed for everybody else to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sometimes you gotta take control of your mind in the little fearful areas. Oh my God, what if I should have had, like, man, shut up. We had some great gains today. We'll hold next time. And that's it. Sometimes I had to like bitch slap the, the the fearful sides of my head. Like, bro, why are you adding more complaints? You must like to just complain about every minor thing. Like, you're not perfect, bro. Shut up. How about you practice some gratitude? You had a great day. We'll do better next time. I mean, we can still have areas to improve, but we had a great day. How about we congratulate ourselves here? Let's do that more often. Let's withdraw 4 bands. We just made 4 bands today. Okay, let's actively do things that are constructive and not just destructive, because perfectionism is cool, but it's not relatable and it puts a lot of more added pressure. All right, so that's it for tonight. I know you guys got added gems out of what Stefan said. So put some fire in the chat for Stefan. That was great, bro. That was needed.
I appreciate the input, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Andy. We got to do what we got to do. The book is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Oh, crap. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. I meant to write Holiday. You need to be stronger mentally. You gotta cut ties with the weak parts of your body and your mind and help it. Help it. It needs help. So help it. Okay. Set the tone. You guys have a great night. The recording will be available shortly. Peace, love, and blessings.